What's up? How we doing? We back again with another episode of Truth Be Told. That sounded really cheesy, actually. But anyway, you guys get the gist. You know who I am. I am your host, Adam Tull. Now, it's been a pretty good weekend. It is Sunday. What is this? The 29th of September. Feeling great outside. High of 73 here in sunny Massachusetts. By Friday, we'll be at 56. We are definitely going to be getting into fall temperatures. Now, I've been thinking about what I wanted to do for an episode all weekend. I was thinking about reading the president's Twitter account because that is forever entertaining, regardless of where you stand on either side of that fence, blue or red. I mean, his Twitter account is pure gold. But I didn't think it was too interesting, and I also have said that I don't really want to get into politics, and something ended up coming up over the weekend where I got perfect material. Now, every Friday, I like to go down to the local hipster juice bar, aka a brewery, and I like to have myself a couple of beers, chill out, have some children-free time, adult time. But in the great state of Massachusetts, you're allowed to bring your child into a brewery even if they don't serve food. Something I'm still adjusting to, something that frankly makes me want to rip my hair out every time a situation arises where someone cannot control their child. Now, on Friday, we get to the brewery about 5:36. I get done working. Let's go have a beer. We sit down, talk to one of the guys that we always talk to while we're in there. Sit there for about an hour. Then we notice there's a little terrorist climbing over the back of one of the booths at the brewery and is about to pull the fire alarm. Now, I don't know where his mother is. She's probably sitting there at the table drinking her beer, not really paying attention to what's going on, talking about her husband was with her, her best friend, her BFF, and, no one's watching the child. The child is probably 2 or 3 tops, just walking around the brewery like it's a fucking ball pit at McDonald's, just doing whatever he wants. So our friend runs over there because he's a fire marshal and he doesn't want the fire department to show up, and we don't want the sprinklers to go off. So he runs over there and, stops the kid. All right, so that's fine. Okay, whatever. Maybe you just, you forgot about your kid. You lost sight of it a little bit. That happens from time to time. Now, I'm also, some people won't like this because I don't have kids, so I can't have an opinion. But, like I've said before, I can have an opinion and I can observe. Just because I don't have a kid doesn't mean that I don't have eyes and I can see what's going on in front of me. So anyway, we brush that off. We don't get too agitated about that. Then I sit down. My other friends come. They bring their perfect angel. He's like 8 or 9 years old. Always. I can count on this kid just keeping to himself, staying on his iPad, even having adult conversations. Sometimes we'll play Jenga with him and stuff like that. And we're sitting there. We get to the table. This is probably like 7:15, 7:20 now. And by this time, there is at least 4, 5, maybe 6 children, all under the age of 5. Most 3 or 4. We're talking like a little bit above toddler status. Now, there's live music going on, always at the bar. It's a very small space. If you can picture just a very small room with a stage, probably no bigger than my office, like the width and length of my office. These kids are running around on the stage while this dude is playing with his microphone, trying to press the pedals that he has on the stage. And I look over and I immediately start getting anxious about this. Now, this kind of stuff is kind of out of line, if you ask me. So I think, what's going to happen? Is someone going to run into something? Is someone going to knock something over? Like, where are the parents? Well, I look over, and the parents are actually watching this behavior and allowing it to go on. Like, mind it, we're at a brewery, number one, where children should not be allowed. In Indiana, we've never, ever had this problem, obviously, because in Indiana, you can't take your kids where they don't serve food, which they should pass that law here because, I go to a brewery to get away from your children and away from, that kind of nonsense. But no, I have to deal with it here. So anyway, back to the story. Sorry, we got off on a ADD tangent there. But these little fuckers are just running, and the parents are just laughing it up and drinking their beer and like, oh look, they're running. It's like, this is, like I said, this is not a McDonald's, this is not a play place. We didn't take our shoes off at the door, did we? So it continues to happen, and then eventually one of the adults, hilarious, one of the parents, also hilarious, goes over and he says, okay, stop running across the stage. And he's like, oh, you can go run over here. Like there's a designated running area or playpen for your toddler at the brewery. Now, I don't have a problem with people actually bringing their children to a brewery or a bar or but I do have a problem where the parent is not taking responsibility for the child. I also think that you give up privileges like staying out late or being at a brewery all day on a Saturday afternoon when you have children, because the kids don't want to be there. They don't want to be watching you drink. A, that's boring, and B, it's quite sad, granted. I mean, it came to like 8:30 the other night, and these children are obviously getting tired, and that just roused them up even more because they're trying to stay awake, right? They're just running in circles, and it never stops. And like I said, the parents are just cracking up. So, just a little word of advice, maybe even like kind of like a little fuck you, or I don't know, but at some point we have to take responsibility, and we might have to leave a place a little early because we have children now. We have something to take care of. You've lost the privilege of being able to hang out the brewery for multiple hours when you have a child. I'm sorry, you just can't do it anymore. I mean, it just totally set me off for the rest of the evening. Kelly's sitting in the corner, and she's like, please don't say anything, please don't say anything. And all I want to do is go say something to these people or say something to the kids. But then if you say something to the kids, then they'll get offended. They'll be like, oh, what are you saying to my kid? You're not his parent. You don't own him, blah, blah, blah. It'd be like some huge fucking ordeal. But I mean, I'm damn near having an anxiety attack. And if you've never had an anxiety attack, it starts with that nauseated feeling, kind of like an anxious pit you get in your feeling about 30 minutes before you're going to throw up, except that anxiety lasts a little bit longer, and then you get palpitations, your heart starts going, you start sweating. Yeah, this is what was happening while I'm watching this, and the only way to cure the anxiety attack is literally go grab one of these little kids and be like, stop running. But I ended up just paying the check and leaving because Kelly knew that it was going to get out of hand quickly if we didn't. I don't understand. Like I said, it's okay to have children in a brewery or at a bar if they're well behaved and you're there for a 1 or 2 beers. This can't be an extended stay visit to the brewery. It's not right for everybody else around you to have to watch or monitor your kids, and everyone's saying, why can't you just ignore it? Well, I can ignore it for short periods of time, but then like it starts, especially when someone's trying to perform and someone's trying to play music and they're up there playing with his equipment. How rude is that? It's just insanely rude. Another weird thing too is with the children and the liquor laws here. You can take your kid into a liquor store as well, which is something I'm also getting used to. And I'm also confused on who they decide to ID, because when I go in and I'm buying the beer, both Kelly and I get ID'd if she's with me, but I'm the only one purchasing it. So I always ask them, I was like, so why are you IDing her? Because, I'm purchasing the alcohol. You don't ID the 18-year-old that's with their father. He's like, well, that's because they're buying the alcohol. I'm like, so what's the cutoff where you don't ID and do ID? And they never have the answer. That's just me being a prick, really. But I really would like to know where they draw that fine line, or how they've decided on whether or not they're going to ID a patron at a liquor store, considering you can walk in with your 3-year-old, put him in a shopping cart, walk around the liquor store and pick up all that you need like it's the damn grocery store. Very interesting. Definitely one of those New England moments for sure. And then I think that at some point, maybe I'll get over it, but probably not. I mean, like that kind of shit just irks me anyway when people aren't paying attention to their children, and but like they always tell me when I get agitated, the parents are always like, well, you don't have them, you don't know how it is, and blah, okay, yeah, good. That works for a limited amount of time when your kid's, running around at a place where they shouldn't be running around at. So anyway, I think it's good for me to get off my chest. I feel a little bit better now. I'm going to leave us with a little update on the vaping story. since we've been following that quite closely. It's near and dear to my heart, apparently. But they did come out and say test shows bootleg marijuana vapes tainted with hydrogen cyanide. Now, that is a pesticide that has been known by the Mexican cartel, who is, we think is, or statistically they say, 85% responsible for all the illegal weed in the United States. They're spraying a pesticide on these plants that is very toxic. They don't even sell it in the United States. They're actually bringing it across the border when they come to do these fake grow apps. It's killing ecosystems in the mountains. And it's so unsafe, though. This game warden was on Joe Rogan the other day, and he was talking about how that they have to sit on these grow ops when they find them for 2 weeks because they don't know the last time they've been sprayed. And within a 14-day period, if you walk into those plants and they've been sprayed with this pesticide, inhaling it can be deadly. So if we link illicit THC cartridges with this weed that's being grown with this pesticide, obviously there's still going to be residue on it. And the hydrogen cyanide is actually something created when this is heated up. And it is known to be caused by, heating up these pesticides. So people are literally inhaling cyanide into their lungs. So again, just like last episode, I'm going to leave you with the instruction to stay away from illicit vapes. Just stay away. If you're not getting in a medical state, I'm sorry. Like, you just can't unless you know exactly where it's coming from, because they did a test. They did a test of 15 different cartridges, and 12 out of the 15 had the cyanide, and all 15 had the vitamin E, which we also know was bad. But then when they tested the 3 from a medical dispensary, no vitamin E, no cyanide, no pesticides, because it has to be regulated. Again, regulation, not ban. The answer to everything is to not take it away. That's absurd. Like I said in the last episode, people are going to do what they do. Let's regulate it and let them do it and tax the fuck out of it. I mean, why do you care? So I think that's going to be it. Like I said, I don't want to get political, but I mean, the Trump thing is getting interesting for sure. I'm hoping that, eventually his delusional senile ass will shit his pants, because that's what we're looking for. Eventually he's going to get caught. And then he's gonna crap himself. It might have already happened. I assume that he's already wearing diapers. We forgot that you elected someone your grandfather's age or your great-grandfather's age to run the country, and then we wonder why he goes on these tweet barrages. I mean, he's obviously not thinking clearly. But like I said, we'll continue to follow that. We might bring a little bit of politics into the show. But for now, I think that's easy. That's like low-hanging fruit. That's like easy to talk shit about. So that's something I now want to do. I want to, challenge myself to come up with at least a more interesting topic. All right. We'll probably see you tomorrow or Tuesday. We do have an interview coming up with a fellow friend. I think we're either going to do it tomorrow or Tuesday. Fellow friend who owns a vape shop, so it should be interesting, his perspective on how the industry is behaving, how the industry is reacting, how he's reacting, what he's going through, and I think it'll be some interesting stuff. So make sure you stay tuned. I'll keep you guys posted on Twitter and via Facebook on what time that's actually going to be, so if you want to watch it live, you can do that. All right, we'll see you soon. Peace. That's what happens when you